After 7 weeks of gripping testimony, a courtroom drama filled with twists and turns, the fate of Sean Diddy Combs rested in the hands of 12 jurors. The prosecution presented a detailed case, weaving together witness accounts and documented evidence, while the defense countered with arguments of reasonable doubt and challenged the credibility of key witnesses. The tension in the courtroom was palpable as both sides delivered their closing arguments, each vying to sway the jury's opinion. A verdict has been reached in the federal trial of Sean Diddy Combs. The announcement sent ripples through the media and legal circles alike. After days of intense deliberation, the jury emerged, their faces etched with the weight of their decision. The courtroom fell silent as the foreperson prepared to read the verdict, a moment that would forever alter the trajectory of Combs' life and career. The Manhattan jury found Combs guilty on 2 counts of transporting individuals across state lines for prostitution, a charge that carries significant legal ramifications. The prosecution successfully argued that Combs had violated the Mann Act, a federal law designed to combat human trafficking and exploitation. The evidence presented painted a picture of Combs using his wealth and influence to facilitate illegal activities across state borders, but acquitted him of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. This partial acquittal provided a glimmer of hope for Combs and his legal team. The jury apparently found insufficient evidence to prove the more serious charges, suggesting a nuanced understanding of the complex legal definitions involved. The distinction between transporting individuals for immoral purposes and engaging in organized sex trafficking proved crucial in the jury's decision-making process. This split decision marks a dramatic turning point, a moment of reckoning for the music mogul and a source of intense debate among legal experts and the public. The verdict raises questions about the burden of proof in sex crimes cases and the challenges of prosecuting powerful individuals, exposing the complex legal and moral questions surrounding the intersection of power, wealth, and alleged criminal behavior. The case has ignited a national conversation about consent, exploitation, and the responsibility of those in positions of authority, surrounding one of entertainment's most powerful figures. The verdict's impact extends far beyond the courtroom, sending shockwaves through the entertainment industry and prompting a reassessment of the culture that allowed such alleged behavior to persist. The convictions stem from the Mann Act, a law enacted over a century ago to address the exploitation of women, targeting the transportation of people for immoral purposes, highlighting the ongoing struggle to combat human trafficking in all its forms. The law, while intended to protect vulnerable individuals, has also been criticized for its potential to be used in discriminatory ways. But the jury found no proof of force or coercion required for sex trafficking. This distinction underscores the importance of proving intent and the specific elements of each crime. The defense successfully argued that the prosecution failed to demonstrate that Combs had used force, fraud, or coercion to compel the alleged victims into sexual activity. The outcome leaves both sides with a partial victory, a complex and unsatisfying resolution to a case that has captivated the nation, and the public divided over the meaning of justice in this high-profile case. Social media platforms are ablaze with opinions ranging from outrage to relief, reflecting the deep divisions within society regarding issues of sexual misconduct and accountability. As the dust settles and the legal teams begin to strategize their next moves, attention now turns to the consequences of these convictions, including potential prison time and significant financial penalties. The sentencing phase will be closely watched, as the judge weighs the severity of the crimes and considers any mitigating factors presented by the defense, and the uncertain future of a once untouchable mogul. The verdict has undoubtedly tarnished Combs' reputation and raised questions about his future involvement in the entertainment industry. His legacy, once celebrated, is now forever intertwined with the allegations and convictions that have emerged from this trial. The jury's decision hinged on precise legal definitions. Combs was convicted for arranging and paying for women to travel for sexual activities, a crime carrying up to 20 years in prison. However, the jury acquitted him of sex trafficking and racketeering, finding insufficient evidence of force, threats, or a coordinated criminal enterprise. The defense argued the encounters were consensual, and the jury agreed the prosecution hadn't met the high burden for trafficking or RICO charges. This nuanced verdict validates some accusers' claims but spares Combs a life sentence. He now faces sentencing for the crimes the jury found proven. The legal battle is far from over. The courtroom was tense as the verdict was read. Combs, stoic in a dark suit, showed relief at the acquittals but quickly hardened as the guilty verdicts followed. The split decision left no one fully satisfied. Combs avoided the most severe charges but now faces years in prison. His legal team offered subdued support, while prosecutors, though denied a sweeping victory, secured convictions. Judge Subramanian set a future sentencing date, and the room emptied, heavy with the weight of a verdict that changed everything for Combs. The public and media, having witnessed every twist, now await the next chapter. The reckoning is only beginning. Cassieventura's testimony marked a pivotal moment, a turning point that reverberated throughout the trial and beyond. It was a moment where silence broke, and a narrative of alleged abuse began to unfold in the stark light of the courtroom. She described a relationship marked by insidious control, a gradual erosion of autonomy that painted a disturbing picture of power dynamics. It wasn't just a matter of disagreement or conflict, it was a systematic exertion of dominance. Violence, both physical and emotional, became a recurring theme in her account, painting a portrait of fear and intimidation. The courtroom listened intently as she recounted instances of alleged abuse and sexual coercion, a manipulation of consent that further highlighted the imbalance of power within the relationship. She spoke of feeling trapped, her choices not truly her own. Recounting disturbing incidents of abuse and manipulation, she offered specific details, dates, and locations, painting a vivid and unsettling picture for the court. Her testimony was raw, emotional, and undeniably impactful. Ventura detailed the infamous freak-offs, a term that would become synonymous with the allegations against Combs, where she said Combs compelled her to participate in filmed sexual acts she described as deeply humiliating and against her will. The implications of these allegations were profound, often under the influence of drugs he provided, further blurring the lines of consent and control. This detail added another layer of complexity and alleged wrongdoing to the case. The defense countered with evidence of a consensual relationship, attempting to undermine Ventura's credibility and cast doubt on her claims. They presented photos, messages, and witness statements, suggesting her allegations were financially motivated, a common tactic in high-profile cases involving accusations of abuse. They argued that she was seeking to profit from her past relationship with Combs. Despite this, Ventura's account, delivered with unwavering conviction, resonated with many who followed the trial. Supported by other witnesses and surveillance footage, which seemed to corroborate certain aspects of her story, adding weight to her testimony, left a lasting impact not only on the trial itself but also on the broader conversation surrounding power, abuse, and accountability. While the jury didn't convict on sex trafficking, a charge that required a specific legal threshold, the impact of her testimony was undeniable. Her courage in coming forward shaped the trial's narrative, shifting the focus from Combs' public persona to the allegations of abuse and control, and inspired others to speak out about their own experiences with abuse, creating a ripple effect of empowerment and solidarity. Her testimony fundamentally altered public perception of Combs, tarnishing his image and raising serious questions about his past behavior. The trial became a referendum on his character and legacy. Prosecutors painted Combs as a manipulator who used power, drugs, and violence to control women. 34 witnesses described a pattern of abuse, with drugs and alcohol allegedly used to impair judgment and facilitate exploitation. Evidence from raids, including drugs and surveillance footage of Combs assaulting Ventura, reinforced claims of coercion. Testimony from former employees and associates suggested a broader pattern of aggression. While the jury acquitted him of racketeering and trafficking, the evidence convinced them of his guilt in facilitating prostitution. The trial exposed a dark side to Combs's empire. The defense reframed the case as one of unconventional but consensual relationships. They argued the government overreached, criminalizing private behavior between adults. By highlighting affectionate messages and questioning accusers' motives, they sowed doubt about the prosecution's narrative. The defense also claimed Combs was targeted for his celebrity status, not for criminal conduct. This strategy secured acquittals on the most serious charges, convincing the jury that, while morally questionable, his actions didn't meet the legal standard for trafficking. The line between consent and criminality proved pivotal. Sean Diddy Combs' conviction marks a stunning fall from grace. Once a titan of music, fashion, and business, Combs built an empire and became a symbol of black excellence. Now, his legacy is overshadowed by criminal convictions and disturbing allegations. Corporate partners have severed ties and his media ventures are in turmoil. The name Diddy is now linked to scandal and abuse, forcing a painful reevaluation of his career. His story is a cautionary tale about power, privilege, and accountability. For fans in the industry, the reckoning is profound and irreversible. With the verdict in, Combs' fate now rests with Judge Subramanian. Each conviction carries up to 10 years, but sentencing guidelines and arguments from both sides will shape the outcome. Prosecutors will push for a substantial sentence, citing exploitation and lack of remorse. The defense will argue for leniency, emphasizing the acquittals and Combs' positive contributions. The judge will weigh the evidence, Combs' history, and the need for deterrence. The final sentence could range from probation to 20 years, determining whether Combs trades his mansions for a prison cell. The next chapter of his legal saga is about to unfold. The criminal trial may be over, bringing a close to that particular chapter, but the legal saga surrounding Sean Combs is far from finished. Combs now faces a flood of civil lawsuits, a veritable deluge of legal challenges stemming from dozens of accusers who are coming forward with their stories. These lawsuits represent a significant escalation of the legal pressure on Combs. These cases, unlike the criminal trial, operate under a lower burden of proof. This means that the threshold for establishing liability is significantly reduced, making it potentially easier for the plaintiffs to succeed in their claims against Combs. The sheer volume and nature of these lawsuits threaten further financial and reputational ruin for Combs. The potential financial implications are staggering, and the damage to his public image may be irreparable. The details of his private life, once carefully guarded, will remain in the harsh glare of the media spotlight for the foreseeable future. Every allegation, every legal maneuver, will be dissected and scrutinized by the public. This legal battle is not a sprint, it's a marathon. These lawsuits are expected to proceed for years, dragging Combs through a protracted and potentially devastating legal process. The clock is ticking, and the legal proceedings are just beginning. Public perception has shifted dramatically. Combs is no longer widely seen as a cultural icon, a celebrated figure in the entertainment industry. The narrative surrounding him has undergone a profound transformation. Instead, he is increasingly viewed as a convicted felon and alleged abuser, a stark contrast to the image he once cultivated. The accusations have cast a long shadow over his legacy. His music and legacy, once celebrated and admired, are now viewed through a darker lens, tainted by the allegations and legal battles. The context in which his work is perceived has fundamentally changed. His brand, once synonymous with success and innovation, is now inextricably linked with scandal and controversy. The negative press has taken a significant toll on his public image and business ventures. The final chapter of his story is still unwritten. The ultimate outcome remains uncertain. The pages are blank, waiting to be filled with the consequences of his actions and the results of the ongoing legal proceedings. But it seems increasingly likely that it will be defined by these legal battles and a reputation that has been profoundly shattered. The courtroom drama will undoubtedly play a central role in shaping his future. The empire he built, a testament to his ambition and entrepreneurial spirit, now stands in ruins, a stark reminder of the fragility of success and the devastating consequences of alleged misconduct. The once imposing structure is now crumbling under the weight of the accusations.